My autistic partner says she won't get help. Do I stay? I have been with my GF for 2 years, she has recently diagnosed autism and I have ADHD and I do love her a lot. Things were great in the beginning and it seemed we had communicated perfectly. Her mental health however has always been really low, no supportive family and stuck living at home and she doesn't have a job. She has severe depression as well. Because of autism and depression she finds it hard to do anything, she doesn't have a job, and won't eat or take care of herself. I have spent most of the relationship trying to help her, or spend money on her to help while getting zero in return, and be accommodating, but I'm on my last leg. I can barely take care of myself some days and the way she behaves makes me feel awful. I lose patience. I can't be her caregiver and it's starting to make me feel less loving, because I'm burnt out on arguments and trying to convince her to care of herself and spending money on her. She says she won't get a job, but if she doesn't, I can't reasonably afford to take care of her as I am poor. She also won't get help from doctors or get a therapist. She is capable of getting a job as she is higher functioning, she just needs something that accommodates and lets her be in her own space. But she tells me the words I can't do any suggestions, including me just asking her to eat or do dishes or help me work-wise. Yesterday her depression was so bad she was saying concerning things like nothing will get better and I couldn't handle it. She was having a meltdown and I tried to just listen, but it started to affect me and I told her she truly needed to get some help from a professional so that she could understand herself and find ways to regulate. As well as that I am always here for her. I just feel frustrated with lack of change. She kept going on how awful she was and she needed to die. She told me she can't get help and can't go to the doctor. I told her I am here for her and I love her, but she needs help, someone who can show her how to manage her autism and help her accommodate. Because if she doesn't understand herself I don't know how to help and the meltdowns and arguments are affecting me. Comment. You have to go. It's best for both of you. She needs help and you can't help her. Besides, y'all's future can't be entirely up to you. She needs to help herself and maybe y'all can meet in the future. Her refusal to manage her mental health and her expectation that you do it for her at the detriment of your emotional well-being is toxic. You can't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Her expectation that you do so means she does not have your best interests at heart. You need to take care of yourself. Don't let her guilt trip you into staying. She is being manipulative and emotionally abusive. I get that she's autistic. But plenty of people are and have to take care of themselves. I'm ADHD, so I know what it's like. There have been times that I have been so low. But the moment my partner tells me that he thinks I need to go get help, you know what, I go get help. I owe it to myself and to him to do that. Because he is not my caregiver, he's my partner. I know it's hard, but some people really don't want to help themselves. For your own sanity you need to move on. I can assure you that's not the case. I feel like I have two people in my head. Autistic me and ADHD me. If I need help I will go get help. Yeah, it's hard and it sucks, but I have to do it. I want to live my life like everyone else. There are things I struggle with that other people don't, but I actively try to help myself so that I can adapt and still get on with things. One thing I need is alone time. My partner understands that and lets me have time by myself if I need it. I don't tell him that I won't look after myself. I am a qualified accountant. I have a senior role. I keep my house clean / laundry, etc. I have 2 dogs I care for. We take it in turns to cook. And I help my partner with his business. You can do it. You just need to get the support and help you need for your mental health and just figure out what works best for you. You seem to be really trying to support your girlfriend, but at the end of the day it's not your responsibility to do it all for her. Some people don't actually want help. They want to use their diagnosis to validate them doing nothing. To be honest, it's the ADHD part that I struggle the most with, I find. And you seem like you are trying to get yourself in a good place with it all and not let it put you down. So many people told me I couldn't do my job, I couldn't manage people, and I did it. I think there comes a point that you need to really do what's better for you. You're young. You have so many opportunities and so many experiences to have still. My partner has the best mental health. Not ND or anything either. It's hard because sometimes he cannot relate, but with respect and patience we made it work and support each other. If people won't get help, then sadly, staying would probably make things worse. Coming from an 38F with ADHD, I am doing well in my career because I have asked so many people for help. I couldn't have done it alone. I had to yank myself out of a depression step by step and try and find a nice job that suited my needs and likes. After 8 months I found it, and have been working there for 4 years. I'm not saying anyone can do it, but yeah, gotta at least try. I'm sorry your GF has issues, but you do as well, and it's time to leave. Perhaps she will seek help eventually as she is lacking support at home, perhaps not. But, you are putting too much of yourself into helping her, while she's unwilling/unable to help or seek support for herself. She's burning you out, getting costly, and you've done all you can. She's using you, knowingly or not, by not working, not helping even as far as not doing dishes or eating. Simply put, you are not qualified to help her in her current state. She needs actual professional help, and you aren't in a position to force that. Next story 2. My partner seems to constantly be in a bad mood. We've been together for 6 years. We used to get on so well, even through the hardest times it felt like teamwork and we seemed to be a strong couple. Over the past couple of months, I feel myself walking on eggshells around him. He's cold and distant towards me, he's snappy, he slams doors and stomps around the house. He will take his moods out on our 2 cats, never physically violent, but he will shout at them and become irritated if they want his attention as he sees them as my cats, not his, even though we adopted them together. When he comes home from work I feel myself becoming anxious. He'll slam the door, go upstairs, and smoke a joint and spend the rest of the night avoiding me. He won't sit with me in our living room as he doesn't want to be around the cats and doesn't want to watch TV or do anything else that involves me really. He also won't leave the house as he's high and wants to unwind from work. He spends every night cooped up in his office smoking weed and seems to avoid me at all costs. If I ask him if he's okay, he will tell me no, but say he doesn't want to talk about it. The only way he will talk about his feelings is if we're mid-argument and he will tell me he's depressed. I will comfort him but won't accept any help. I begged him to speak to a mental health professional but he simply refuses. He has a habit of belittling me, or bringing me down at any given opportunity. Every time he's in a bad mood, somehow it's my fault. I try my hardest to keep him happy, but the more I try, the more he seems to dislike me. When he runs out of weed or tries to quit, he becomes 10x worse and will pick fights with me and say spiteful things to make me cry on purpose. Once he's had a joint, he will calm down but never apologizes for hurting my feelings. I suffer from depression and anxiety and have it under control for the most part, but living in fear of his next outburst is draining me. My entire life revolves around his feelings and I feel like I can't do anything to help. Is there anything I can do? Comment. Oh gosh, that is a miserable feeling. Dreading your partner coming home is the worst. I watched this play out with a neighbor once and after wasting years hoping it would change she finally left him. Please leave. This doesn't get better without therapy and even then it could take years. You deserve to feel safe and loved in your home. This is not okay at all. He needs to see a doctor and he needs to see a therapist. If he is unwilling to do that, he has no chance of improving, and you should leave. My heart goes out to you so much. He should not be treating you like this. Point blank. You seriously deserve so much better. Sounds like he also may be going through some mental health/possible addiction struggles, maybe from increased stress at work. You sound like you have really tried to help. If he doesn't want to help himself, there's not much you can do. Sending you and your sweet kitties so much love. Saying goodbye to a long-term relationship is heartbreaking, but it may be time for you to move on. Don't let him bring you down. You deserve so much more. Do you want to live like this for another year? 5, 10 years? It is time for you to end the relationship. He is abusing you. Next story 3. My BF's brother doesn't want me to visit their house anymore. My BF and I have been dating for a little over 2 years. From the start his brother, M19, was very distant and after a few months demanded from his parents that I no longer sit with them at the dinner table. It's important to note that my BF and his brother do not have a good relationship. I brushed it off as I thought he would come around and followed his wishes. BF and me would eat either later than the rest of his family or in another room. I found his demands ridiculous. Before the current incident I thought of his parents as the perfect parents who raised, at least one, perfect son, my BF. While my parents fought and were borderline abusive, I thought of their house as a safe space. A year into our relationship, things with my parents got really rough at times, and I begged my BF to talk to his brother so I could spend more time at his house, but him and his mother felt like it was not a good time, so I left it alone. I left him alone and never gave him a reason to treat me badly. The incident happened a few months ago. After sickness and a very late diagnosis, my dad passed away. My BF was nothing but supportive of the whole family and was with us for the final hours. After the passing, his parents invited my mother and me to their house for dinner, and we planned to visit a few weeks later. 4 days before our visit, my BF informed me that his brother, who moved out at this point, wants to join us for dinner, and I suddenly became sick to my stomach. After such a long time, I could not understand why he would want to join us for the dinner. His parents invited us because of my dad's passing. I broke down crying and could not stop shaking because I felt so powerless. After setting very strong boundaries years prior, I could not understand why he would cross them and invade my personal space like this. And another thing is, I didn't tell my parents about his brother's request. I don't want to know what would have happened if my dad ever found out that I can't sit with my BF's family at the dinner table. The thing is, I am certain we could have been civil, and I doubt my mother would have noticed anything, but I mentally could not handle it. Despite my BF trying to calm me down, I finally asked him for his brother's number so I could send him a message. To this day we only ever communicated through his parents. He did not speak to me about his boundaries and his decision. As I still could not stop shaking and crying, I typed a message and tried to be as clear and not accusing at all. The message went a little like this: I do not want to tell you that you can't come to the dinner, but please tell me why you would want to. Is this a cruel way to show your power, or are you trying to mend our relationship? I probably left out important details, but this is the main gist. I don't think I ever slept worse, but I pressed send and tried to sleep. At 7 a.m. I woke up unusually early to the text message: my mom wanted me to come but I won't, I don't want drama. I was shattered. After I spent so long trying to find the perfect paragraph to send him, his response did nothing. And on top of this, I was really angry because it sounded like his mom was trying to force us together, which I absolutely did not want. Hours later, my BF awoke and talked to his family. Of course his parents already had read my message. His brother sent it to them immediately. Everything just became more confusing and more absurd to me. Somehow it really was the brother's idea, and he only said that it was his mother's, and somehow he was really offended by my wording. I was shocked, because I especially made sure to only put his actions towards me into words and did not accuse him of anything. Moreover, he stated that I was idolizing his family by stating that I felt like my home was not a safe space at times. He felt like I disregarded his experience, but I heavily doubt that he was verbally abused and made fun of at home. I don't doubt it, I know he was not. He told his parents after this that he did not want to see me again, meaning I could not be at my BFS if his brother was home. I was shocked at his behavior, but it only got worse. I intentionally did not post this to AITA because I know that I am not. I said things that were left unsaid for 2 years, and I am allowed to set boundaries. His parents told my BF that I should have talked to him in person. It is the only way to get through to him. I could not deal with this statement. This man is my age and wants me to talk to him after he never even talked to me about his initial decision? And moreover, where would I even have met with him, may I remind you, a few days before the dinner? I especially did not want to meet with him at his parents' house. The last thing I'm gonna do is scream at him in presence of his parents. For the next days I felt like crap. I had anxiety attacks thinking about the dinner, and I did not feel supported by my BF, who didn't want to take a stance in front of his family. The dinner actually went good, everyone was nice, and his parents weren't cold at all, like I feared, but it's been months and I can't let this go. My BF and I had a nearly perfect relationship up to this point, and I have to be honest, I would have left him if I had any doubt about my feelings towards him before the incident. I have not been back at his house when his parents were home and simply don't know how to move forward. I told him that I really fear for our relationship, as I felt like he didn't take my side or came to my defense. Our dynamic was never about him defending me. I am way more comfortable with conflicts than he is, but this is very new to me. My family had a lot of discussions about anything, and we always took a stance for what we believed was right. I have a strong feeling for justice, and I feel like they did not do me justice. Where do I go from here? I have no problem with having a bad relationship with BF's parents. They do not owe me anything, and my view of them shifted completely. So many important details about his brother's initial decision only got to me after our falling out, and I am so tired of them never communicating about conflicts. Also, I feel like my BF doesn't deserve any of this. His parents would let his brother treat his next girlfriend the same and he doesn't see it. I'm sick of them and I'm trying so hard to not let it affect my relationship, but it has. I just want to move forward but I don't know how. Comment. This doesn't make any sense. I am left to believe you are leaving a whole lot of the story out. Why would he not want you over? He had to at least give someone a valid explanation. So either your BF or his parents know the reason and can relay it to you. Secondly, absent a reason, why would him simply wanting to now have dinner with you cause so much emotional distress? I would assume you would welcome his sudden change of opinion, consider you previously sought his approval. As I read your post, I am left believing you are using this situation to emotionally guilt your BF into choosing sides. Tell him his lack of support is very telling and it says he sees no wrong in how PPL treat you, especially his brother. And if he doesn't defend you or support you, then he's not the man he likes to think he is compared to how you've stood by him.